welcome to another episode of Chat with the Jays. So, Joanne, what are we talking about today?
So today we've got something interesting for you guys. We want to speak about work, and when we mean work is what's the topic? What should I give it now? Like integrating into work,
Adaptation.
and how you adapt, being that you're from a different
Especially when
place.
we just relocated.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you've just relocated to somewhere different, which the system is totally different and everything works different. So we are going to just put in our little knowledge of what we think, how we have integrated, and you guys can always kind of cite whatever we've said or give us an option of how you've coped at work and all that. So sit down and relax and enjoy the whole groove.
Exactly. And just basically sharing our experiences. Like, for me, that just relocated like about how many years ago? Like, that was like
a couple of years.
Yeah, about 6 years ago. My experience when I first, relocated here at work, man. So like, I know that, when I was coming, I was made to write English exams, IELTS, as most of us all know. And coming in, I first moved into a small city in Scotland, and it was a big shock for me because when I moved in there, like, they weren't speaking English, basically. It was slangs. I was like, what is going on here?
The Scottish language.
It was like, yeah.
They call it something, what's it? I can't remember what it's called.
Five accent or five.
No, they've got this general name they call Scottish accent. You guys correct us if you can remember.
I can't
Or just
remember.
drop a comment.
But it was a small town in Fife. My goodness. And it was just absolutely, it was strange because they weren't speaking English, and it was so much of a shock for me because, in Nigeria, in Nigeria, we're very welcoming of foreigners. We're very acceptable of, we're very accepting of foreigners. Like, when we see foreigners, we're like, oh, welcome. We want to acquaint them with everything that's going on. But here, it was completely different, everything was just strange. And here, people don't speak to you, but like, like in Nigeria, anything you need, you can easily ask someone and you get help. But here, people don't speak to you. I remember going to look for where to buy SIM card, just so I can get data, internet on my phone in order to be able to use my map to navigate my way. And I was walking up to people on the streets. When I got lost and I couldn't remember my way because I've not been there before. And I tried to walk up to people to ask them for direction, and the first person literally ran away from me.
Oh my god.
The second person, the same thing.
I think the worst is those small villages. That's the way they react because they've not seen much of I say color people. I won't say black people. People of color.
I wasn't. And to me, and to me, I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, what's going on? Am I wearing a mask? And I just couldn't figure out what was going on. I remember just turning around and I ran back. I went back found my way back to the hotel and, explained what happened to the receptionist. And he just laughed. He was like, the next day he literally took me down to the high street so I could get a SIM card. But and that's the worst part then, because there was nobody to answer my questions, nobody to help me understand what was going on. And then I went to work. I was fortunate at my workplace, I must say, because I had one of the best mentors to start with, and she was lovely. And it was really challenging as well because different workplace. When you go to a new workplace, it's not like you're going to learn what you've been trained to do. Like, for me as a nurse, I wasn't asking to be taught to be a nurse, but learn the routine. And the routine is completely different, and everything, but the equipment, everything is different compared to what I had back home. But it was really challenging. You didn't have a lot of some people that didn't. We had some people that didn't want to show you around. Some people that don't want to speak to you. But like I said, I was fortunate. I had a really nice mentor that was very supportive.
And another thing, what you've just spoke about, let them is very catching. Another thing about it is that I don't know if they know that this happens. Like the head of the, let's say for instance, I'll use NHS as instance. I think the other day I was thinking about it. I think they should start putting such thing as training.
Exactly.
And put it as put it as a topic or a must for people to learn, because it's quite difficult for us to integrate with people behaving to us that way. But on the other side, because we're not even used to reporting all this, little attitude, we keep it to ourselves, and maybe people at the top don't even know this happened. But on their own side, they are quick to go maybe report whatever happened. But because we keep it, we experience, I don't want to go and call it the R word, but seriously, we experience massive kind of wrong behavior or attitude at work from our fellow colleagues, and no one is speaking about it.
That is,
we really need to talk about it. We really need to make manager or whoever at the top aware of this, because they have to straighten some people about this. If people are getting this kind of attitude towards work, you just wake up and you don't even want to go to work the next day, sometimes, because you're not even comfortable.
As a nurse, I read about depression in books. I read about, I got taught about depression during my nursing school, and then I read about it in books. I watched about it in movies, and in my head, I imagine, what would make one depressed? Like, exactly. I just imagine what it felt. Because in Nigeria, you hardly see people,
True.
People are mostly, except for now that, bad governance and things. I don't know what's going on in Nigeria right now, but then in Nigeria, most people were content and happy at a place of work and things, and people could speak about things freely.
They're easy to correct you.
Exactly. But when I first moved here, I experienced depression, and being that I moved alone, it was that was when I experienced depression.
What you went through. That was very challenging.
And like you said, it's because people. And since then, I made it. I try to put it on myself when I see people that relocate for the first time.
You try to help. I try to them.
I try to tell them what to expect. How to behave. What to because some people, especially for example, I will use this as an example. In Nigeria, we just laugh and make joke about most things.
And just
even when you're angry, when someone annoys you,
just tell them to
their face. You just tell them that, this thing you did, I don't like it, and you guys just laugh about it, and that's the end. But if you behave like that here, you're seen as being unserious, like you're laughing over everything. We're just very cheerful people.
I don't know if it's the law. I would say that they'll call it like you're being too forward. Exactly. Or you're confronting the person.
Before they'll tag you angry.
Thank you, exactly.
Aggressive, angry, But that's the thing. And like you said, I don't know if I would say that the people at the top don't know about this. Maybe the people at the top don't know about it, but direct line managers, it will be impossible for them not to know about these things.
But that's why it's good to, not according to a friend of mine will always say to me, report it properly. That's another thing we don't know. Documentations are important, and reporting the process is very, very important, which we don't know about. So most times we feel if I want to report stuff, I just go face to face with the manager or whoever, my supervisor, to tell her. No, because most times it's just head, and that's where it stops. It stops in the room where you guys are. But if you're really not happy about the situation, the correct reporting process, you put a mail down, copy whoever is involved, the top, everyone, copy everyone, and then a proper meeting or whatever will be brought down, everything will be put on the table, and then there's a record. So in case there's a next time, all due process will be followed. But because most times we don't want to speak like that, we just feel, it's just something minor, it's nothing, I'll just go and tell the manager and I'll just go there.
But Joanne, another thing, sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Another thing that makes some of us not to report is that when you report like that,
no action is taken.
It's not just, even if action is taken, you find out that it will make your situation at work even worse. Everybody, start speaking about you. Everybody starts isolating. It makes even the isolation worse. Because I've heard a few people say, "What's the point reporting? I would rather just look for jobs somewhere else." And you see people quitting their jobs in places that they really love, because they don't want to report, because if they report, they feel like it will make their situation worse.
Threatening.
And which is actually true. You see, when they report these things, you report this thing, and you notice that people start behaving to you. It's just that microaggression.
Like what I would normally say to people, not funny now, it's not just about the immigrants, because I've also noticed it happens within even people that are still here, like people from here and born here. I know some people, we all have different kind of attitude towards each other, or maybe your lifestyle from home or wherever. Yes. Some people have very nasty attitudes. We all know that. Even within maybe my sister or my brother, some people's attitude is just out of this world. You know, why some people are really nice. We still get those very, very nice ones. But what I've noticed is that even within like the same kind of ethnic group, like put it that way, yeah, when all this bad attitudes start, you know, and they're also complaining about maybe a particular people, they know manager, know whatever process, they all know. But if due process is taken and you think you're threatening about their attitude, the way they behave, for me, then I used to just say blind, like say just ignore, do your work. I will only have a problem is if by the end of the month my money doesn't go into my account. That's when I'll have a problem with them. But if my money is complete, my dear, if you like, keep behaving anyhow, because some of them, it's not even just at work. If you meet them outside, they're also that nasty. Yeah, so I just tell you, ignore them, totally ignore them. But when I mean ignore them, I don't mean don't report. Please report. Take your phone or laptop or whatever, type a mail, copy whoever, report whatever.
Even not just don't stop at report. If you report there and see that nothing gets done,
escalate
it as further, because these things keeps happening because people are not speaking, people are not reporting
you need to report.
Escalate it as much as you, and that's why it's important to have unions and things, you know, join unions, if, you know, because some of these unions can be very supportive in handling discrimination at work.
There are different types for
like
different organizations, so it's really good you join one. It's really good you join one and catch up with stuff like that. Yeah.
Another thing I was going to ask is, what do you think? What's your opinion on what do you think about career development and opportunities for people of color at workplace? Do you think there's equal opportunities for people of color?
Sincerely, I would say no. Sincerely, no.
I believe so too.
But like what I always say is that for me, that's my principle, and I keep telling whoever, I just tell you, ignore whoever is there. Keep pushing. Because sometimes when you just keep pushing, the person or whoever gets fed up and just gives you your way. Keep pushing. Do not just take no for an answer. That's it. Take no for an answer. In your head or in your mind, be like, I know you're not giving me this thing because of, you know, I know the reason. We all know the reasons, but my dear, I need this thing. I really need it. It's not about you now. It's just about me. So you just keep focused, insist, and you get it. And if you think it's not coming from where you want it, ask questions. That's another thing why you need to talk and communicate with people. Ask questions. Oh, I've asked whoever is in charge and I'm not getting solution from there. You look for the next person who you have to ask. Somehow you will get an answer. It may not even be coming from yours, but someone will give you an option. Maybe like, okay, maybe first thing, maybe change where you're working and then you move to this or you move to the other place, you will get it.
Because so I've noticed that most people of color have to move from a particular place of work to a different place of work to advance in their career, because there's no room for career. Because you see people, and the most painful part is that you see people that come in, you see people that you see when they come in and you get as well. You're even part of their training process, you know, part of their account, and they come in and you see them 2-3 years they've advanced, they push them up for trainings. You ask for the same training and you keep getting, you know,
if it's not working for me, that's why I keep saying, if it's not working, that's what everyone, it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way.
That's why you need to report stuff and
it shouldn't be that way,
know who to talk to. And if it's not working, my dear, move. Some people are just, according to Nigerian people, they will say maybe some people now winch from home or something. If you know it's not working there and you really need it, report it, like I said, the right way, and then you move if you know it's taking too long of your time waiting.
Well, I think that's where it's wrong, because I think they know that if they keep keep stunting your growth, if they keep making you redundant, at some point it will make you frustrated
and then you leave.
And you see people leave a place not because they don't like that job. It's just because of the people. The people that are, you know, the attitude of work, the kind of things that the challenges that they're facing, they're from the people, not the job itself, and they leave that job, that particular job that they actually like, because everybody wants to grow in their career, because there's no room for career development for them, which I feel like is really bad. You know, I know that that's what most people are doing. That's the practical thing that most people are doing, because you can't just stay in one place and rot, you know. So they have to leave. But it shouldn't be that way. And it's such a shame, it's such a shame that these things are happening.
They happen, even as bad as we are not coming out to speak about it, but they happen so bad. So my advice to everyone is, when these things happen, you just have to look for another way. When I mean another way, you report it or you escalate it. Your oga at the top, I don't want to use the English name, your oga at the top has an oga at the top, has another oga at the top. Or you have a union as well, we said join. Look for a way to report these things, because at the end of the day, you need it, not them. So they are not even bothered about if you get it or not. You are the one that needs this growth. They are already where they want to be. Even when they are at the bottom or wherever, they are okay there, but you are not okay there. You need to grow. So learn how to communicate with people, escalation process. I believe in some organizations have that. Learn how to escalate things. Or I've dropped, and another thing, like I said, don't do verbal stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Learn to write mails, because when you've sent an email about it, because sometimes we've gone forward to do those things verbally, and maybe the person is also busy.
Word against theirs.
Yeah, and they can be even busy and forget about it because you did not put anything in writing. So they can, I was busy, I never remembered. Which is right, you can't even hold them to that.
Exactly.
But if you've got a proof that you've written, and then you remind them, and then you remind them, and then you remind them, at that point, you look, even if the person is a witch self, they'll say, okay, I beg, let me do this stuff so this person will be off my back.
It's only when you hold them by the balls like that, that's when you see them that, all right, we don't know, I don't have the energy for this drama anymore. Let her just it's more like let my people go kind of thing. So like I said, it's such a shame that people have to go through this, and this, at work, because there should be equal. When you're filling application forms for jobs, you get to the equal opportunities monitoring form, you fill all of that,
and then everyone will go teamwork and make
exactly. You wonder where all that goes to, like when you start the job.
They just sweep them under the carpet.
And it's another thing that I also wanted to say is, how do you deal with, well, I don't know if it would be right to say unprofessional managers at work. Managers that speak to staff unprofessionally, like being...
I will still go back to say escalated. I won't only talk about the managers, because some of them even start from your staff, like your fellow colleague that don't even know how to speak to you disrespectfully. For me, before now, I would say just ignore them. But trust me, right now, I know how to report properly. Yeah. So what I would say, if you're not comfortable, because if you're not comfortable and someone is threatening you at work or making you not feel okay at work, you're not going to put in your best at work. So I would say, please try to report it, and make sure when you're reporting, make sure something is done to make you feel comfortable at work, to reassure you that you're okay at work. Don't just, whoever it is, like I said, whoever it is, make sure you report it properly and make sure something is done about it. Do not let anyone make you not comfortable at work, because your input at work is also going to be showing. Exactly. And trust me, if you're not giving in your best input, the same people that made you feel uncomfortable at work will still be the same people to go report you that you're not giving in your best.
Yeah, and these things have a way of affecting your mental health at work. You wake up in the morning, you have to go to work because you like this job.
Yeah.
But when you think about the challenges that you're facing at work, you don't feel like going to work. You go to work unhappy, So, like I said, what I meant by the question I asked is because I think it's a bit okay to deal with a colleague that's being unprofessional at work, which is on the same level. But when a manager is being unprofessional, it's a bit tricky because
you report to the top. You report to the top. That's all I can say. Because I don't know any other method. If any other person knows something else, you can let us know, because we are all learning, But for me, like, there's a manager, there's someone at the top of the manager. So you look for that person.
Sometimes it feels scary, like you're going above your manager to report.
Oh no, do not be afraid of anything. That's what I have to say. It
feels like, what's going to happen? What if it comes to backfire? What if, it not makes the turns, not everybody start discriminating me at work?
I know sometimes.
These are the questions that some people ask, because sometimes, I've heard of people like that drag their, management to, as far as they could go and got what they wanted, but
makes them uncomfortable at work.
How did your work the workplace remain after this incident? Was it conducive for you? Because you do this, and at the end of the day, you discover it makes your workplace severely unconducive. But like I said, I don't know. It's just such a shame that full-grown adults behave.
Yeah, we get them everywhere. We get them everywhere. Like I say, work, at home, we get people with nasty attitude. But I understand that at work we don't need that. We should try our best. And funny enough, I wouldn't only talk about others. I would speak about maybe ourselves, or maybe myself as well, because sometimes I may have maybe to the next person a bad attitude, or the person doesn't like it. I feel it's okay for you to have a chat, because the way some people report some stuff is like, okay, maybe I behave to you. Let's say, for instance, I behave to you wrongly at work. You can't even come to me to say, my friend, why I did not expect this from you. Why did you do that? And why did you do it? Instead, you jump and go to management to say it. And then the way when you're reporting stuff, they don't even report it correctly. They make it look like you've just killed them.
And they form a clique.
Yes.
Again.
So you just try to let people communicate with people, talk better. It's nothing, like no one is killing anyone.
Exactly. It will be better if both parties resolve their differences.
Exactly.
And move on, because there's workplace friction everywhere.
True.
But it's just that ability to, understand that, give people room for benefit, give people room. I think the most important thing is giving people room for mistake.
Yes.
Giving people
Very
room for mistake. Giving that room that nobody's good. My colleague, this person, nobody's going to be perfect at all times.
Yes.
So when you have that openness in your mind, that there's room for mistakes. So when the mistake happen, it won't seem like a big deal to you.
Yeah.
It will be easy for you to it's only when it's recurrent. For me, it's when a mistake is recurrent, that's when it's no longer a mistake. Yeah. When it's recurrent, you've spoken about it the first time, it happens again. You've spoken about it the second time, and you notice that it's not like a one-off. Yeah. That's when it's no longer a mistake. But when something is a one-off and you speak about it and you notice that, there's that person is, made amends, there's, the person has adjusted, it's not happening again, you move on, because it happens everywhere, even in Nigeria as well. Yeah. People have issues at work. But the only difference is that they speak about it. See, this thing that you did, I don't like it. Yeah. Please try not to let it happen again. Yeah, and they'll be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it came across that way. And end of story. Exactly. Everybody goes about their work. Nobody goes about forming cliques on how to make you feel.
Oh, talking about cliques, I had a friend that had an issue at work, and a clique was formed about her. But you know what is interesting as well? That it wasn't even the other people forming clique. It was still people of color that formed cliques about them. So yes, I'm telling you. So that's why I keep saying, I know it's not just about people of color. I know it happens individually, things like that. But for what reason they had to do that, it was totally wrong. When she told me, I was shocked. But, as usual, they escalated it. She also replied to the mail, and at the end they were wrong, but because you just ganged up, or you're fresher here, you're just new in, you don't know, so and that's another problem. When people come into somewhere, some group or whatever you call them, just feel that you're fresh to the place, so it's time for them
to be bullied.
Yes, to start just trying your little temper to see what you will do or how you will react back, which is very bad.
Forgetting that this person is dealing with culture shock from moving, dealing with the difference in food,
that's true.
Dealing with no family, no friends, dealing with maybe possibly accommodation issues, money issues, because they've just moved in. This person is dealing with a lot, and they come to work and you're still adding, oh my god.
I would say in nutshell is that we should all try to be welcoming to anybody. Anybody, no matter who the person is, even though they are too little or they are too old. Please stop being nosy at work. Come to work, do your job, be happy,
be professional,
do your stuff. I wouldn't only even say professional, because there's something project management will always say. If you ask someone what a layman's definition of project is what you do every day. It's not just about working in the big company, being a project manager. At home, you managing your home, your kitchen, your stuff is still your project management. It's your little project. You trying to arrange stuff is your little project. So the same way this going to work it's your life. Because you're treating someone bad at work doesn't even mean it's just at work only. You will come out by the road, they behave like that, funny enough.
Exactly.
Because it's their attitude. So please try to be nice at people. I wouldn't say be professional at work. It's okay to be professional at work, but be human, please, before being professional.
That's the word. Be human.
Be human before
because
being professional.
Because you could find yourself in that situation.